You might have to hit OK, that you're recording. Let's see. So Hannah, do you want to do announcements to tell us about our November speaker?
I would love to. I'm so excited.
Me as
In
well.
November, we are going to be talking to Cynthia Rutledge, who will be speaking to us from
Thank you. I
her
was trying to
home,
do that.
and she'll be sharing a little bit about her current body of work and what inspires her, and telling us where we can take classes from her because she's doing a lot of Zoom classes. So she will be on November 3rd is when she will be joining us via Zoom. Also,
And
we in November we have a fundraiser, and that fundraiser will begin online on our Facebook page. It begins on the 10th of November, and we have a ton of stuff. We uploaded, I think, 91 pieces, and I still have one more a collar piece, a beaded collar piece, and then Paulette donated a bunch of books. So we have I think we have 100 separate items, of which some of them were donations from an estate sale that Doris handled, and then Rochelle and Sonia photographed. I mean, they did a fabulous job and just so much work. It was really incredible. So I have to get the rest of that information online, but please come and window shop and share with all your friends and maybe shop. We
Right.
open once again on our Facebook page on the 10th, and I think that on the 10th that Rochelle and I will be going live on Facebook and talking a little bit about it.
Yeah, we'll be showing you pieces live, showing you them closer. And this year's fundraiser, all the proceeds are going to go to our Peace Chain project. So that's the really super neat thing about this particular fundraiser.
Right.
Why, it's so important. We're trying to.
One question, what day does it start on the 10th?
What time of day does it start on the 10th?
Oh, it starts at midnight your time.
12:01 Central Time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have everything up, and then I will turn it on all on at 10 o'clock my time, which is midnight your time, right? So
Yeah.
now you can't go ahead and actually comment, I don't think, unless I did something wrong. But the day beforehand, the 9th, I'll be putting all the buy it now. I think we're gonna always be doing buy it now. We'll be doing buy it now. And I'll put all the prices up, and then I'll turn everything on at midnight your time, that's Central Time. So
We have looked at the crystals again, and the consensus is they want the crystals up for bid.
okay, then
Because,
in that case, I will put big notes at the beginning that this is for bid.
right,
This is
so
for buy
there's
it now.
3 of them here. We've been showing you what they look like up close, and then there's one more that we got in that in the collection that Sonia and I took pictures. So I think those should be up for bid is what everybody keeps saying here, because this is a lot of Swarovski crystal, unique shapes, a lot of bicones. And so,
in the containers.
and of
Yeah,
course,
and it
the
has old stock
containers
too.
that they're all in too. So,
I
we'll
think that's
start it off at a great place, but then you all get to decide what it's worth to you.
take it out, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now,
So I think donations are done, right?
absolutely, we have plenty of stuff. I don't have time to put much more on. I have to put all of the I'm gonna put all of the how to bid up is on the first half, but the second half, I have to put up how to bid and what's in each lot. And also for the books, I'm gonna let you know, the publication dates and everything like that. So all of that written stuff I'm still working on. So we're not gonna take any more donations for this year. We have so many and it's so good. So, speaking of November, we have so many things going on in November.
I know, right?
So also in November, Rochelle and I are going to do a pendant for the Let's Bead Live, which is based on a zipper, and I showed you that in the last meeting, but so I don't have that loaded up again. But Rochelle will have those partial kits by the end of the week, and then whenever she has time, she'll make the rest of the kits, and then she will have them for you guys to buy at the November meeting. And Rochelle, do you think you might be able to get them done in time for the Bead Bazaar?
I very well probably will, because
Okay.
I'm
Because
also
I'm sending them out. I'm sending them out tomorrow.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so we'll match our zippers with our beads and our fringe and all sorts of goodies. So the November Let's Be Live will be lots of fun.
I think
Uh,
so. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's all I have.
super. Well, we're so excited. Then maybe we should introduce our speaker of the night then.
That sounds super fun. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And so do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
Up to you.
Oh my gosh, we're so darn excited.
I think Hannah should do it.
I think Hannah should do it too, because you've known Terry a little longer than I have, but I am going to remove myself and get Terry up here and come here. Oh my
There you
gosh.
go. So
Oh
there's
my
Terry. And hi Terry. So I don't even know how long I've known Terry, but she and I met through the lampworking world. I was so excited to be able to call her up and ask her to speak with us. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Uh, t- Through her own artist statement, she writes that the science of art continues to inspire her glass and metal formed pieces. Her creativity is guided by elements of the chemical, physical, and natural world, blending fantasy with reality and with science. In exploring the scientific processes of glass, organic elements, metal, and electricity provides a foundation for growth, while color, form, and design reflect both the natural world and imagination. After a career as an earth scientist, Terry followed her heart into art full time. She is best known for her electroforming work that combines flowers, insects, and fossils with glass, and for her lampwork floral designs. Her teaching integrates art and science, helping students gain both confidence and understanding of technique. Her personal journey through breast cancer continues to shape her art with resilience, risk-taking, and boldness. You can find her work in class schedule at Terry Henry Glassworks, and I will put that link up in the chat. And Terry, I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Hannah. I believe we met at the Best Bead Show in Tucson.
I think I knew you online or before that, but yes, I think that's where we finally got a chance to see each other in person. I think you may be
They don't
right.
even do that show anymore, do they?
I think the Best Bead Show does. I don't think it's at the Kino Center, but I think that it is still being run. I think it's significantly smaller
Together.
than it used to be.
Dora
And I
says
think-
yes, it's still there at the Kino Center,
But there's
Oh, it
only,
is at the Kino Center too. Okay.
but there's only like 10 vendors.
Well,
there
you know,
were tens.
yeah, when Terry and I first did it, it had just, I think, been sold from Lewis Wilson, who spoke for us. I think it was, Rochelle, when did he speak for us? Was it maybe 2 years ago now?
I think, yep, 2.5 years.
Yeah, so he had just sold it, and I think that's when Terry and I met each other, as we had just started doing it. So you hadn't done it when Lewis was there, had you?
The first year,
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
All right.
Or maybe
Well, we're
Dave.
so
I don't know.
excited. I'm so glad that you said yes
Thank you.
to speaking to us. And guys, wait till you see her work. Oh my
Oh,
God.
you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Well, I guess let's share and we'll get this up. This is always my biggest thing. Share. Okay. Now that that's done, where's the thing that says start? Okay. Is everything good?
Looks
Okay,
good.
great.
It's perfect.
Oh, good. So I'm going to share a little bit about well, I'm going to share a lot about myself and my work. And yeah, well, anyway, let me get started. I don't want to spill beans before I get started here. So this is just a quick overview of some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. And it's really just a portion of the things that I make. I want to learn how to do everything. And the only problem is, I'm going to die before I get good at anything. So I started out as a art student in high school. It was all I wanted to do, and all I wanted to do was make stained glass windows. I was so absolutely intrigued with the colors that came through the glass. It was just like gemstones. However, I remember sitting in the student union one day, it's San Jose State, looking at the featured artist that was doing their thesis, and there was this whole subject matter a la Andy Warhol of lips and strawberries. And I don't paint, I've never painted. So I thought, well, maybe I need to look at a career change for where I thought I wanted to go in art, because I figured I was just starting to get into science. And I thought, well, I could be a mediocre scientist and have a living, as opposed to being a mediocre artist who probably had absolutely no potential to make a living at it. So I became an earth scientist. And one of the things that really intrigued me was the way minerals look through thin section. Under the microscope, there was a guy in one of my, well, he was in the department. I was taking beginning geology because I wanted to learn how to set stones, and I wanted to learn where to find them. But anyway, this is the mineral olivine, or we know it as a peridotite. And under the microscope, it is absolutely fabulous. These colors are just magnificent. So you can see it would be pretty easy to be enticed toward going into the sciences. And let me tell you, because I was an artist and somewhat dyslexic, I had to start my math with beginning algebra in my junior year of college, because I had a career change between sophomore and senior, or junior. So there was a lot. It was a big change for me. But what was so cool was that I was successful. And I really, really enjoyed what I was learning. Come on, quicker. Okay, good. So I did end up starting my glass journey with stained glass. And I moved into a neighborhood that was being built. I was one of the first houses. So I ended up doing doors and side lights for people. And the picture on the far right was my front window. And then the one below that was a bathroom window. They were very concerned that they wouldn't be able to see them when they were on the toilet. And of course, of course. And the window to the left of that is actually, I retrofitted these panels to match my new house. They were also more like drapes in the other house. And then above that, the dragon, I've always been, well, my dad's been into dragons, so it was a dragon that I made for him. And of course, I own it now. But I really wanted to do beads. That's all I really wanted to do. And I came across a scrimshaw that I had bought for my husband, and I decided I wanted to make ship beads. So I became known for my ship beads. And this was one of my more recent one, which is reverse enamel painting on a tile that's then applied to a bead. And it's really cool the way you can get more details in with that. So I actually did get to start making beads after a while. Oh, only the mouse works. And so I began making beads in 2004. I've got this thing here. I can move it out of the way. Oh, it didn't work. Okay. Anyway, and over here on the right is where I my station. Here's my torch right here. And I've got various tools off to the side. This thing, I'm going to show you a video of a bead I make. I'm going to reach over and a piece of silver magically appears. And it's because this little thing is a fan and a little piece of metal with a bunch of holes in it. My father put this together for me. It sucks. So it sucks the piece of silver leaf down, so it doesn't end up going through my ventilation and off into who knows where, which is really frustrating when that happens. And then this is a little warmer. I'm going to be heating up some CZs. So this is where I'm reaching. You won't be able to see that in the video. So what I would like to do is show you a video in honor of the aurora borealis that you guys, I think, are supposed to be able to see here real soon. I live too far south for that, or you could call it a galaxy bead as well. So let's find the video. And I'm going to talk you through it so you can see how these big beads are made, or how my galaxy or aurora borealis beads are made. So there it goes. There. Okay, so, or galaxy bead. So I am going to be adding frit, which is this stuff over here. And there's no sound to this because if I tried to talk through it with the ventilation going and the torch hissing, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. So, and I'm going to use dichroic glass. Dichroic glass was developed by the aerospace industry. They used it in their spaceships. I'm going to be using a rod of copper green, which is a semi-reactive glass. And I'm going to use something called pale teal. So these are the colors I'll be using in this bead. So first I'm going to light my torch with this handy dandy electric lighter. And I've got, this is a double propane oxygen torch. And I'm going to go for a neutral flame, equal parts of propane and oxygen. And what I'm doing now is I'm heating up my bead release. Bead release is, it's kind of a clay that you put on your stainless steel mandrel, and it keeps the glass from sticking to it so you can take your bead off later. Otherwise you end up with a bunch of plant stakes. And I've made lots of and if you wanted to make plant stakes, you could on purpose. So I'm adding scrap clear glass to the center, which is a common occurrence, a common trick a lot of bead makers use. There's always these shorties left over. And I'm using clear glass. We use a lot of it. And what it does is it'll stiffen glass. Clear glass is a very stiff color. Most transparent colors are very stiff. So if you cover it with something like copper green or white or something, it could be, it adds stiffness to your bead. It doesn't get as drippy, as soft. And it's also a way to cut down on the cost because the colored glass is more expensive. So I just decided it wasn't square enough or symmetrical enough. So I added a little more to the other side. And this has been obviously sped up. For those of you who aren't familiar with the process, you can see how quick my movements are. A bead like the one I'm going to make usually takes, an hour plus in time. So I am casing or encasing the clear core with the copper green, just by going round and round, trying to make sure that I overlap my layers. Otherwise, that clear glass will just get sucked up between the layers. It's amazing. Anyone who does this kind of work will tell you that that glass will just rise to the surface if you don't get it well covered. And this is a marver, and I'm going to marver that gather of glass into a shape. I often wonder why I do this, because you're going to see me absolutely torture this shape of glass that I work so hard to get as barrel shaped as possible. And you see it's not perfect on the right, so I'm going to add a little more to make it symmetrical. And I'm actually overlapping. See the clear core in there? I'm overlapping the copper green, so when it melts, it'll cover up the clear core and hide it. So I'll show you again what it looks like after I've melted it down. And ta-da, it's almost gone. And with a little marburing, it'll just completely hide the fact that I had a clear core in there to start. So that's a way I can be a little more economical and use up my tons of clear glass that I have piles accumulated. So there's very little waste. Okay. So copper green's pretty cool color because it reacts with silver and it turns this really awesome teal. Right now it's kind of an army green. And if you cook it too long, you can get red streaks in it as well. But we're going to be laying down some silver. And I'm reaching over to the thing with lots of holes in it that sucks and rolling my bead on top of a chunk. I think it's silver foil I used. That's another marver on the left side with that indentation. It's really called a lentil marver because you can make lentil shaped beads with it. But I like using it for forming regular beads. And now I'm going to burn this in. I'm not really burning the silver off. I'm turning it to an oxide. There's oxygen in the flame. And so when I burn the silver, I get silver oxide that's going to stay that way until it reacts with something. Right now it's reacting with the green glass. I'm going to get it nice and hot. I'm going to roll it onto the Prince of Tides fret, which is a combination of purples and teals and just aquamarines, just some really pretty glasses that also react with the silver. And the way they do that, they get this little silver halo around each one of them. And I've decided I need more at the top, so I'm scooping that pile up into a tighter pile so I can just get the top of that. And heating it up, melting it all in, going back, marvering my gather of glass into something that's somewhat in shape. And of course, you can't really see the reaction right now because everything is just hot. So now I'm going to grab the dichro. The dichro has an emulsion on one side and the other side is clear glass. So I can only heat up the clear glass side or I will burn off the emulsion. So you have to use it just right. You can kind of see the clear glass on top there. So I want to make sure the emulsion side sticks to my glass so it's away from me. And I'm going to heat it up, wrap it around that. And that's going to give me that lovely iridescence that you see in it and sparkle. We're all about sparkle and bling, right? And I'll burn it off in the flame. Okay, and I'll check it to see if there's any scuzz on it. And
Is that an official term, Scott?
absolutely technical
It
term.
is.
Scuzz, I guess you could replace it with schmutz. So there's some schmutz. We're going to take it off.
Schmutz is also
Schmutz, everybody knows what that is. But there's still the emulsion is still exposed on the edges under the clear, and it's still up there. So I'm going to have to smush it down or marver it down would be the proper term, and get that clear on top over the edges so that I don't create more schmutz or scuzz. So I'll just roll that in there and take care of it. Okay, now I want to melt it in some. Obviously, I talked through this before. You can see my hand moving. Who doesn't talk with their hands? Okay, so we're going to get this melted down. And then I'm going to take a clear rod, glass, skinny one, and I'm going to poke it and twist so I make the little galaxy or that spiral that we saw in the aurora borealis. I picked my colors based on that photograph, the teals and the greens. And I knew that that copper green would turn that teal color because I played with it before. Okay, here's the clear rod of glass. And I'm just going to poke it in there between the two strip or the strip of dichro right there. And I'm going to give it a twist, and it's going to twist everything around to create a spiral. And then I'm going to break it off. And I've got my little spiral. And I'm going to do this 5 times because like 3 is not enough. And you got to keep with the feng shui of the whole thing, right? You need odd numbers, you know. So I'm going to put 3 in the front, 2 in the back. So another twist. Got to keep that bead hot on all sides, otherwise they crack on you. When you're first starting out, a lot of your beads do crack because you forget to heat both ends, front, back. Okay. So there's 3 in the front. At the overlap, above it and below it. So I've got 3 spirals, and I'm looking to see, okay, I want to put one above the line of dichro and one below the line. I'm just looking to see where I think it would be best. And that really shows the spiraling. This is not a very complex bead to make, actually. I mean, it sounds, I mean, there's a lot going on in it, but a lot of it is just layers. It gets a little harder here because the aurora borealis, there's stars in the sky, right? I decided that I also needed to put some cubic zirconium in here. And this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing because those little suckers fly off tweezers like, it's amazing. So even though I've got 5, I'll have 5 places for them, I think I heated up like 10 of them. So I'm just poking into the place where the clear glass was. And that's a tungsten poker. Steel would stick to it. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure everybody's been poked. And here come the CZs. So they were in the warmer on top of it, and I'm just heating them up ahead of time before I insert them because it just, there's no thermal shock to them. The problem with cubic zirconium, these are 2.75 millimeters, so they're pretty small. But it's really easy to get them in backwards, upside down, point up, and it kind of ruins the look of having fine gemstones in your bead if they're in upside down. It's like, oh, look, she put her CZs in upside down. So heat them up, place it, and then push down on it. And temporarily having it pushed into the glass, there's a little lip on the glass, which will keep them from falling out. In fact, you could leave them like that if the bead were perfect, which it's not. It needs to be shaped more. Okay, this one's like, did you see it fall out? It's somewhere on the table. So just grab another one. Stick it in there. Oops, it's sideways. Oh, is it inside? Is it upside down or? Okay, good. I saved it. They're really hard to see. And the other thing is I have didymium glasses on, which protect my eyes from the flame. And they also filter out the sodium flare, which is yellow. I also have a lens on my camera, so you can't see it, but it's really hard to see anything without your glasses on. It's kind of hard to see stuff with your glasses on anyway, because it makes everything so dark. Okay, that one was good. Got that, heating it up, pushing it in. I think, oh, I think I have one or two more. One, two, oh, I have one more to put in there. And this one just, okay, went in upside down, trying to flip it around. It's upside down, point out. Oh, that's no good, right? Grab another one. The problem with glass is you can't touch it when it's hot, obviously. So you can't use your fingers. Oh, there goes again. Pesky little thing. You know, when I made this video, it's like, I could easily cut all this out, just put them all in. But I think it's important for people to see that it's not always easy to do it right the first time. There we go. It's all about picking it up, point down, and getting it in the hole. Yay. Okay. Good. So now I'm going to take that aquamarine. I've sped this up again, obviously. And I'm going to cap each one of those. One, two, three, 4, and 5. And this is not sped up here. Okay, we'll heat that in. Spin it around. Now I can really abuse this lump of glass. Everything's all protected. So I'll get out my trusty marver, roll it around, try and get it back into the shape of a bead, or close. And now I'm going to case that. Just like I put the copper green on, I'm going to cover this whole thing in a very pale, transparent aqua or teal. This does a couple of things. Makes bead bigger, but it also acts as a lens, so you can see, it magnifies what's underneath it. So that's always cool. So same thing, I want to have it stick out over the edge a little bit so it'll melt down and cover the ends. I guess I had a spot that didn't overlap. and it got a little short and a little hot. I don't know that people realize that all these fancy beads you see are always built from the center out. A lot of people ask me, how did you paint those flowers onto the bead? Okay, so we've got everything put together, and now it's time to shape this thing. And there it is. You can see the insides. We're going to melt it down. And it's wonky. You can see when I spin it that it doesn't spin evenly. So it's my job to get it as symmetrical as I can. And they make all kinds of different marvers. That's an Ossaban marver, and it's made to even out beads, just to try and get both sides the same side. It's not my favorite tool to use. I always end up going back to the lentil marver for my symmetry, even though that's not what it's supposed to be used for. Here we go, favorite tool. So I'm working on the ends. I want to make sure that the beads have a nice bead hole, a nice pucker, as they refer to it as. It's not sharp. You don't want someone to do beading with this and have it cut the tiger tail or that you're using, because there's sharpness on the edge. So pretty much if you get both ends established, the rest kind of flows in properly. So we'll work on the other side a little bit. And then of course there's the obsession factor. Oh, it's not perfect yet, which could go on for a long time. But I think we're pretty close here. So when I spin it and it feels symmetrical, when you spin it around, it usually means it's pretty good. One more time with this just to kind of test it out. Been making beads for a while, and I think the hardest thing is getting your bead shaped well. Okay, that was the bead release that was starting to chip off. Which, as long as it doesn't get on the bead, you're fine. And as long as it doesn't break near the bead, you're fine. Okay. One more. There we go. It's starting to look symmetrical, feel symmetrical. And I think I'm happy with its shape. Feels good, spins well. Yeah, and here's what it looks like when it's done, with all kinds of sparkles. And I looked at this and went, wow, that'd make a great base for some flowers. So, or a great base. I like lentil shaped beads, so I smushed one, not the same one. I made another one and smashed it because I like wearing these flat beads. They're more comfortable for me. And then I decided to put flowers on it. Just kind of randomly went, oh, well, I think this needs some flowers. So I made another one and put flowers all over it. Absolutely no format to what I did, just good old random placement, practicing flowers. Okay, that's pretty cool. I do like making flowers. I make lots of flowers. And I'll get into that in a bit. So these are the 3 beads using the same exact base for the beads that I used for the Aurora Borealis beads. And they're fun and they're pretty and they're sparkly. Obviously the one with the flowers did not have CZs in it. So I think where is next? Let's see, backwards, forwards. Okay, next. Next. Whoops. Let's try it again. Okay. So, as Hannah mentioned, in 2008, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which really put an end to my flaming experience because your mind's not there, your brain is on chemo. You're not capable of getting near a torch or anything slightly dangerous. And I had multiple surgeries on my right side. Like I said, I couldn't torch. My brain was scrambled. They told me to do crossword puzzles. Did I mention I was dyslexic? Crossword puzzles is like not my cup of tea. And I had 4 years of beads that I had made. So I started twisting wire and stringing beads in patterns, which did a whole lot more than crossword puzzles would have done for my brain. And what it did was it strengthened my right arm. I'm right-handed, improved my cognitive skills, and by the time I was done, I had a pile of jewelry. So it was an interesting turn of events. I can't say I enjoyed going through that, but it did change my life, and it's amazing how awesome it is when you feel good after being sick and on chemo for a whole year. So it really makes you more appreciative. So the other thing it did for me was flowers, wire. I started making my flowers, my glass flowers on 24 gauge nichrome wire. And all of a sudden I had a whole new outlook on how I was going to put my things together. I also started electroforming a lot of pieces, and I'll get into that in a bit, but these components right here are this little eucalyptus cap, and this I think is a dandelion calyx. So it also had some interesting repercussions in my work. I made a lot of floral jewelry using wires and a base of disc beads on the bottom. You can see them there. And then the electroforming components added a whole new complexity. I think I go into these in detail, but here are the calyxes from, I believe they're African daisies, and I think that's a dandelion from the lawn. And these are hydrangeas, and those are spiders. I hate spiders, but they're kind of cute when you put little stones in their
Like
eye.
they're real spiders, electroplated.
Electroformed, yeah. And then my son lives in Maine, and he sent me wasps' nests. People send me stuff from all over the place, and wasps. And I put this piece together. So it's been a lot of fun. Let's see. Good, I do have details. So that shows the components. I felt that I was making some really unique pieces of jewelry, and the idea of going to Michael's and getting their stock bead caps just didn't quite cut it for where I wanted to be. I wanted something that was totally unique, totally different, and totally made by me. That's not to say I don't use stock bevels and things, or bead caps, because I do. I just like to use electroform pieces when I can, and also to add a little bit of whimsy to the whole thing. This is Garden Guardians. These are my it, wasps from Maine. Thank you, son. He also helped me name the thing. I was like, what do I call this? He said, you got wasps all over it. Call it Garden Guardians. No one's going to go near it. So anyway, but these are imported animals from Maine. And it's got all kinds of pieces in it. But here's stock bevels, or bead caps right here. I think they came from New Sparkle or whatever, where you can buy a big old bag of pewter caps for nothing. They're all over this thing if you look. So I hadn't quite added as much, but it evolved. And a close up of that so you can see the construction a little bit. All on a base of disc beads. It's all woven together. And it's a great class. I love teaching a class on this too, because it's pretty. People are just amazed at what they can make. This was my Christmas card last year. Most people don't see the spiders right away. If you look, you do. But I mean, come on, red and green, a little bit of white. It looks Christmassy, right? And we called that Along Came a Spider. And the spiders, they're wolf spiders. After this guy who comes and sprays for bugs they just seem to come out of the woodwork in the garage. So I scoop them up, put them in the freezer because they're still kind of kicking, but they're on their way out. I know it sounds awful. People go, oh, I don't want to go in your freezer. But I have a little jar and you stick them in there. That way you don't have to deal with them right away, because you know what happens to dead spiders? They just curl up, right? So you have to lay them out and open their legs up. And it's been a process. It's actually interesting. But wait, there's more.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let's see, let's hit the right button. Oh, let's try this one. Okay. So electroforming, yes, it's a real lizard. Yes, it's a real cicada.
No wonder there's something correct.
They're
Oh.
so cool.
These cups have been a big deal and people love them. So I have a girlfriend in Florida who sent me the lizard on the left. His name is Jesus. He was lying dead on her garage floor and she went, ah! She swore, Jesus Christ. So she said, I'm sending you Jesus. And I went, oh, okay. And then the cicada came from somebody back east during the cicada hatch that we had. And then there's the bird's head. So I was out with my son. Well, he wasn't my son-in-law yet. I was out with my dog and my daughter and my daughter's boyfriend. And my dog comes running back with this bird's head in its mouth with this long spine attached to it. And she's so excited. And I'm like, wow, she brought me a treasure. And of course, my soon-to-be son-in-law is looking at me. And I tried to very gently detach the head from the spine with my poo bag, because you know you always carry poo bags with you, and it wouldn't come off. And so finally I wear rubber boots when we're out at the beach, stepped on the spine and yanked until the head came off. And my son-in-law looks at my daughter and goes, your mother's pretty strange. But anyway, this is copper electroforming, and it's actually a pretty simple process. You take things like a lizard or a cicada or a dead bird head, and you paint it with organic a conductive paint, and you put it in a acid bath that has little strips of copper in it, and the acid eats the copper and it deposits on the piece, your project. And again, it's a pretty simple thing. Once you understand the basics, I've actually taught it to 6th graders in the classroom. So it's very easy to learn. But the art is pretty cool. And you don't have to do dead things. Or well, I mean, you can stick with glass. I mean, you don't have to do things that were moving and alive. Well, they were dead by the time I got them, right? But flowers and stuff electroform nicely. It's just kind of the next thing. The next thing, remember Andre Lalique and all the buttons
Yes.
he uses in his jewelry? I was so intrigued by that. I just thought it was so cool. I really wanted to make my own jewelry. Now, I don't kill bugs. I find them dead, okay? Dragonflies have a way of being trapped in the sand, on the surf. They usually have a broken neck. By the time I get them, a little bit of glue goes a long way in putting their heads back on their bodies. Spiders, their legs always fall off. You can always substitute wire for them. No one will ever know. But this guy right here, really creepy bug, Jerusalem crickets. They live underground. They also crawl out of the woodwork after the exterminator has sprayed my garage. They don't belong in my garage. I don't touch anything outside, but in my house, I don't think so. Anyway, this piece over here is the same Jerusalem cricket, same guy. Check out his antenna here. And I gave him a blown glass butt and gave him new life. So that's the
Oh,
last
that's fun.
thing I want to share with you here is what I do with these guys. I like to finally figured out a way of combining this electroformed insect thing with my glasswork. So I blow glass abdomens, and you can see I've got a horn beetle, this cicada. I think this is another cicada. And I combine them with dichroic glass blobs and gemstones. They always have their eyes. You can't really tell here, but their eyes are always drilled out. And I'll stick a tiny little CZ in there. Just kind of adds a little whimsical touch to it. Especially those spiders. They're kind of creepy to work with. And so what I'm going to do, this is my last video I'm going to show you guys. These are my blown abdomens. And I'm going to do, well, I used to call them blown bug butts, but someone said, well, they're really abdomens. That's not the right name. Whatever. Butts, abdomens, they work.
Bug buddies.
Bug bodies, sure. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I develop the pieces that I use to decorate these things with the goldstone and some of the reactive glass. And then I'm going to blow one for you. It's not very long. Let's see, and I'll talk through this again too. Oh, you can hear the ventilation in the background. Maybe not, because I didn't optimize the sound. So what I'm going to do, turn on the torch, heat up a piece of glass, and I am going to break this chunk of goldstone. Goldstone, good goldstone, comes in huge chunks, and getting it into useful pieces is always interesting. People go, how do you use something like that? Well, you score it with your glass cutter. Sorry about my hand being in the way. I'll move it real soon. Heat up a piece of glass and just touch it and pow.
Oh.
Made little pieces from a big piece. Now I can grab that with a clear glass rod, light that torch again. We sped this way up. There's nothing more boring than watching glass melt. Well, I guess paint dry is up there. But okay, so I picked up all these little tiny pieces and I'm going to case them in clear because the flame will burn them if you don't cover them up. Heat them up, melt them together,
Oh, gee.
and pull it into what they call a stringer. And now I can use it to paint with. Okay, so we got that blob and And now I have a stringer of goldstone. I'm gonna cut it.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing how much you can get out of just a few little things. And I look at the, oh, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with the dichroic glass because I wanna be able to essentially paint with the stringer. Now, remember that emulsion I talked about? Don't wanna burn it. You don't want scuzz in your streamer, your stringer of glass. So I'm putting the emulsion sides together. I know it's kind of hard to see. Just flatten it down. And I'll just melt that thing up. Again, hand. So get it down there, make sure I'm paying attention to where the glass side is and the emulsion side. Smush it. And fold that puppy over so that the emulsion side's on top of the other glass. Cool. Okay. But I still have emulsion on the sides. I believe that I'm going to take a clear glass rod, tiny little piece of glass rod. Oh, I got smarter. I got a bigger one, which has stuff on the end. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, I guess I didn't worry about anything on the edge. But I'm going to do the same thing I did to this that I did to the goldstone. I'm just going to melt it up, twist it up, and pull it out. It's really fun to make these, by the way. It's like, oh, can I pull yet? Can I pull yet? Okay. So there's a little skill involved because if you pull too soon, you get a really skinny one that you can't use. And if you pull too slow, you get a really fat one that you have to heat up again. So wait. All right, balance this thing around. Okay, it's ready. And you just kind of get a feel for when it's ready based on the way it feels. And I'm just gonna burn these off. And then there's a little left behind. I know it sounds crazy, but and it's really expensive stuff. You know, a strip of it might cost like 25 bucks. So you don't want to waste any. Pesky hand. And I get like half again as much off the tip of that thing. It's a pretty long piece. Okay, so we did that. We got two things to play with. The last thing that I'm going to do is this is a silver glass. It's got silver oxide in when they made the glass. And if you turn down your oxygen and turn up your propane like I have here, you can get the silver to come out of it. Well, and you can see how it's kind of silvery in the picture. So I'm going to paint over that with some clear glass after I get rid of any leftover scuzz, right? No scuzz. I apologize for my hand once again. So what I'm doing is I'm casing over the tip of that to preserve the silver that's come out of the glass. They refer to that as a reduction or reduced glass there. And okay, that's protected. Now I can go back to a regular flame. And heat the whole thing up and not have to worry about it burning the silver back into the glass. I just nipped off the other side. And so that way, when I paint with this thing, I'm going to have a little bit of silvery sparkle to it. And so we heat it up and pull it into a glass rod or a stringer. I just rolled down those little things that were sticking up after I encased it. The clear. And almost off screen, but you can kind of There's just this silver little glow to these things. It makes it more interesting than using just plain ordinary navy blue glass. You kind of see it up there at the top where it's thick. Okay, so finally, I'm going to blow an abdomen. Once you blow it, you got to have something to attach it to, right? Or how are you going to use this thing? So I'm going to attach it to a wire, nichrome wire, which has a really, really high melting point. In fact, it's what they use for kiln elements. So it's good to use in this stuff. Of course, I could burn anything off. I can melt a mandrel if I'm not paying attention. A mandrel was that thing I made the bead on, and I have. So what I'm going to do is make a little coil around the tip of a blowpipe here. It's not very big. The blowpipe is, maybe a diameter of 3 or 4 millimeters across. It's not a huge thing, maybe 4 millimeters, maybe even 5. So I just made a little coil pot off the end, essentially closed it up, and I'm going to heat it up, heat the pipe, heat the bubble, and I'm just going to blow it. There's the bubble right in the middle. Cool. I mean, this is the same well, it's similar to the process they use in a flaming studio, where they've got the big torches. Only they start out with solid piece. And I'm adding the goldstone to my little bubble. And I haven't pulled it out yet. Okay, so there is that. And I'll heat it up. And blow it again, cools it off, keeps it from flopping into nowhere or touching itself and ruining my bubble. And I'm just going to check to make sure those little lines go all the way down. And now I'm going to add that silver glass stringer that I made. Put some spirals in there. Kind of sort of to look like wings, maybe. These are all fantasy animals anyway. Trying to get a mirror image is kind of tough. You sit there and go, okay, I swirled this way the last time. Now I have to swirl in the opposite direction the next time. It's a challenge. Okay. So we're going to heat that thing up, heat it in. It's my trusty little marver to make sure everybody's pushed down and isn't going to pop off on me. And I'm also going to add a dot of white because I want to stick some green, silver green glass on top of that. Of course, the base I think is yellow. And you'll never see it if I don't put a white base down. So put a dot of that in. Here comes the green glass. Just a touch. I mean, and you can poke them, and you can put CZs in them, and you can put air bubbles in them. And, I mean, if you can think of it, you could do it to it. You just have to be brave enough to try. So heat it all up. Now I'm going to put a clear glass. They call it a punty when you just stick something down to it, but it's a little glass rod. Now I'm going to stick on the back end briefly to help me pull it out long. Otherwise, I'll blow a bubble, right? So hook that up, get everything nice and hot and all melty and floppy almost. And there's actually a mistake in here. I'll have to watch. And blow and pull. And it's starting to look like it would look good at the back of a bug. Right about up here, I get it too hot and it almost collapses on itself. Gotta watch quick. Right there. Oh no, it was perfect and I almost ruined it. So I put the blowpipe back up, blow it back out again. Whew, dodge that bullet. Okay, and sharpen up my flame, take off the clear glass because I don't need it. Burn it off. Don't want it too sharp, right? I want these to be necklaces and things. And I have a holder that I can grab it with because it's solid now. And I'm got it open. I am just waiting for the blowpipe to get hot enough so I can pull that off. And once I do, there it goes. And now I get my wire, heat it up so I can get it in there. Otherwise it won't stick to the glass. And stick it in the back end. And there we go. I've got a piece I can use in one of my bug bodies and put it off into the kiln so that it can anneal. And they turn out pretty interesting. And there it is when it's finished. So you can kind of
So
see them.
cool.
It is cool. Where's my mouse? Right here, you can see how this kind of reflective look. And that's because it was the silver glass. So, and you can barely make out the gold stone in there. But you can, it adds another dimension to the animals when they're done. Let's see, push this button. Whoops, been there, done that. Okay, and there's the finished abdomen.
Wow.
And a little wire.
So cool.
Thank you. So oh, and here's some more finished insects. And here's a better picture of the evil Jerusalem cricket, which looks pretty cool in finished form. He was a stick pin. Most of these are set up to be stick pins and or necklaces. In fact, I have on one, but I didn't blow the back end of the one I had on. So I could go on and talk about electroforming. I could talk about the enameling I'm learning how to do, some of the Millefiori classes. I mean, there's just so much I could share with you guys, but I think it's important for me to stop sharing what I can do and talk about keeping on, emphasizing the importance of overcoming obstacles that life throws at you. We are not getting any younger. I mean, I got arthritis, I got this, I got that. I think you can all agree with me when it comes to the things. I mean, all of a sudden your finger swells up and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to bead with this knuckle? And you just go, I love beading, I'm not stopping. And you get over it. So you keep on keeping on. I think that being treated for breast cancer was really kind of a wake-up call to me. It was like, what are you going to do with all the beads you've got? Are you going to just sit here and make beads for the rest of your life? Are you going to enter competitions? Are you going to go to shows? Are you going to share your work? I have a K-12 teaching certificate. Am I going to teach? I'm a good teacher.
And stuff.
And I've been to Italy like 6 times, and I love it. I am attempting, and it's attempting for the last 3 years to learn Italian. So it adds a whole nother experience to your trip over there. Although I'm not very good at it, but that's okay. I'm better today than I was yesterday or a year ago. So I think it's important to maintain and to keep keeping on. We all have things to share and to teach other people. So I guess this is really my artist statement. I believe working on the edge has been my biggest factor in my ability to grow as an artist. And I plan to take every opportunity that comes my way. And it's important to live for today and to keep creating. So yeah, These guys, there was a competition that the International Society of Glass Bead Makers put together. It was called Portrait. And obviously I play a lot with flowers. My hair was not as white as it is today. It used to be gray. That was, you know, anyway, that was a number of years ago. But this was supposed to be me. I made a whole family of myself until I was happy with the one that was me. And it's the one on the right over here. I thought, okay, that works. I like that. But we were definitely all related. We looked like sisters. So what's next? Oh, my schedule of classes for 2006. Twice formed, electroforming, and enameling. I'm going to be in Kansas City. Is that enough upper Midwest or close enough?
Sort of. Our new president lives, I think, in Kansas City, doesn't she?
Anyway, I'm going to be at Kansas City Glassworks. Sally Legrand invited me to come. I'll be at Glasscraft Bead Expo in April, and I will be teaching these over here. This is what I'm going to be teaching. So this is the class. It's enameling on electroform pieces, basically, and the process and what I learned when I did it. I mean, it doesn't look like cloisonne or anything, right? But it's enameling. It's pretty cool stuff. And so I'm going to also teach that class in Vegas at Glasscraft. And I'm also going to do a basic beginning, very beginning Glasscraft, electroforming class. And then I'm also going to give a talk with Carrie Stroke on using head pins, glass and wire. So we'll talk about that. And then in the big, whoa, wow, I didn't know that worked. I've been fighting it all night. And then in Long Beach, I'll be down there doing another beginning electroforming class, only she wanted to make a cuff. So we're going to be doing pretty much flowers and or beads if people want to do that. And that Glasscraft Bead Expo is not on I don't think it's on the website yet, but the other classes are. And this is my website. And oh yes, an offer to your group. Any of the classes that are on my website, even the ones that show up under the Zurich Glass School, I can offer those to you guys as a group if you're interested. So this layered approach with the disc beads, and I've got kits that you can get so you can pretty much design your own stuff and then put it together yourself, and you can use your own beads and stuff with it too. So that's an offer for your group if you're interested in any of that stuff. And with that, I believe it's the end of the show, and I can answer questions for you. I have not looked at the chat. Oh,
Well, we've
how
got
can
there's a whole bunch of them here. Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm going to let you.
We have a whole lot of people
Okay.
who think it's super duper interesting
Awesome. Thank you.
and all that. And they love this. People are also asking, says you're making a lot of hand finger movement to make the bead. When you started, did you have to build stamina for this artistry?
No. Well, yes and no. But remember, I had my right side cut into a lot. So it was really good physical therapy for me when I started again. And you do become kind of sort of ambidextrous after a while. Which is
That's what I was thinking after the repetitive hand movement, just because as a beading, I've become more ambidextrous. I would think you would.
And to be honest, I don't find using the torch. I mean, I got a lot of things wrong with my body, but lower back problems and all, but I'm very comfortable with the torch, which is nice. It's more comfortable for me than hunching over trying to pick up beads. Although I don't know how you guys can see those teeny tiny little things. I am impressed.
We use a lot of trifocals and
Bicycles.
Yeah, but the needles really do help. And so we have lots of comments that they really enjoy the close-ups. You
Thank
know,
you.
because having the camera right over the torch, it's really better than at any show where you're leaning over somebody's shoulder and everything. And
I've been told my classes, my online classes are really good too, because I go into a lot of detail. The camera's right there, it makes it easy.
it really does. And we can't have any fire in these buildings. So normally we couldn't invite you in person anyway because of
Oh.
restrictions of the insurance. So this really makes it possible. We do have a question from Lori. How can I remove the bead release from a bead?
From the inside, or is the bead stuck on the mandrel?
I don't know. What's our Lori? Are you still here to clarify your question? I don't know. I guess she's not.
Well,
She just needs to unmute.
Probably from the inside of the bead.
Lori, you need to unmute to clarify the question. Oh, on the inside, she says.
oh, I use a flex shaft or a Dremel tool. And you can buy these long, skinny drill bits. And they're about the size of, well, they're about 2/3. You can buy them really skinny, or you can buy 2/32 or 3/32, which is about the size of your mandrel, and it tapers down. And I just stick it on the end and put the thing in water, and I drill back and forth until all the bead release is gone.
Oh.
But check out any of the bead stores, arrowsprings.com. They should all have bead reamers. Oh, you can also
okay.
get the ones by hand. You go back and forth. They don't do as good a job. But yeah.
Because I've got a
underwater.
bead. I've got a bead that's like a pale green, clear, and it's got all this bead release in the middle. It's like
Schmutz.
no,
It's got
no, yes,
schmutz
it's
on
got
the
schmutz.
inside. Yeah.
It's got the
Yeah.
schmutz.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've got any type of a Dremel or anything like that, but you can buy a bit. But it also fits in a pin vise where you can just put the whole thing underwater and go back and forth and scrub it.
What about pipe cleaners?
So there was a lady that took pipe cleaners and burnt the fuzz off of them, and then strung her beads, her little tiny beads, on the pipe cleaner that was defuzzed, and put little loops at the end so the little tiny spacer beads couldn't come out, and threw those in a rock tumbler. And that was supposed to scrub out the inside too. I tried it.
Wow.
It was okay. I decided my Dremel tool worked better and quicker, and I didn't have to wait for it. And
Okay, so
I didn't have to burn the fuzz off of pipe cleaners either.
that doesn't sound like a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll try the reamer because
Bead
I'm sure
reamer.
I can
I
find them.
think you can also buy electric bead reamers, but if they're real low quality, you have to make sure not to get them wet because they don't like it very much. But it
Well,
works better.
I paid 50 cents for the 2 beads, so I'm good.
I've noticed a lot of the beads from India don't have the
Well, yeah,
bead
it's
release
not.
like that too. I've also found that if you try and clean them out, they usually break because I don't think they're annealed properly. So after I'm done making something like that, I have to put it in the kiln and anneal it. So I bring it down through, oh, I don't know. It's the kiln's at 950, and it goes all the way down through the stress point of the glass. Anyway, it makes them stronger so they don't break on you. But when you buy beads, you should really look at the quality of the bead hole, whether it's sharp or not, and whether or not there's any bead release in it too, because you want a clean bead.
Yeah.
So, unless it's a bargain, sometimes people put bargain beads out. They just,
It was bargain.
yeah.
Bargain.
So,
Any other questions? You're more than welcome to unmute and ask her.
absolutely. I'll tell you anything. Twice too much.
If I send you a bug, will you electroform it for me?
I will. So if you
That would
send
be
me,
cute.
so during the cicada hatch,
Mhm.
a lot of people sent me bugs. There were people that, one lady, she must have been a biologist. She actually had them out on styrofoam, and she had these little pins that were wrapped in tissue paper or whatever she did to them, and they were just all pinned, individually pinned. And I mean, she didn't put the wings out or anything, but she sent them, and they were dried too. She didn't send them to me. I've had other people send me a bunch of bugs that were live at one time, and they came from Florida, and it was like soup. They had decayed on the way. It was disgusting. But I just think it's so sweet that people send me things. I get them. There's one lady from Texas that every year she goes out in gardens. She sent me scorpions, and they're all dead. I mean, somehow a dead bug is
Oh my God. So, I mean, it's just magic. And I love that they're real. And I love that you take the real flowers and do that. It's so magic.
and the insects are burnt out afterwards. They're not there anymore.
Right.
I burn them, so they're gone.
And what about the plants when you do the plants? Are they
They-
burned out too?
Yes, I burn my plants out too. Not everybody does, but I don't know. There's something about things. Well, first off, I use dried plants. I find they work better than fresh ones. There are people who do fresh plants. I don't know. I don't have that skill.
I would think that'd be hard. But
Well, we're kind of floppy, actually.
okay.
They're different. I don't know how. It's really important to make sure that you don't contaminate your bath, your solution, and so you have to spray everything and coat.
Okay.
And I don't know how you do that with live. I can't imagine spraying a live flower with lacquer. I think it would just shrivel up and go away.
I think it would too. Yeah.
But
I
there
think
are
it would
ways of
change
drying. Yeah.
dramatically. Yeah.
So I stick with hydrangeas and other really meaty flowers.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, yeah.
well,
It's
thank you.
so magical, so
Oh.
inspiring, and we're recording this video so that it'll be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So that way you'll be able to share it. We'll send you a link as well so you can download it. And then other members can watch it in the future at any time as well.
Thank you. And thank you for helping me, Hannah, especially with all my technical difficulties. My computer upgraded yesterday, and all of a sudden Zoom needed to be reloaded. And so she got on with me again a second time today. Huh?
I did. Yay. Oh my gosh, we're
Oh,
so
look at that.
excited. Oh, and
Oh, it
thanks
was
for
my
all the
pleasure.
links, all the chain links everybody's given us. And we've got our whole long one. Thank you so much, everybody joining our Peace Ring project. You need more beads, let us know. We'll get you hooked up. And so
Thank you
Thank you so much, Terry.
I just have to
Thank you
say,
so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for the
all right,
offer.
hold on. Becky has one more announcement. There we go.
watching you make me want to get my torch back on.
Yay!
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 That's major inspiration.
She probably
Newly
went,
retired.
I can
She's
do
going to
that. I can do that.
You can,
So
you can.
keep creating, everyone.
Yay!
Yay. Thank you for the invitation so very much.
Yay!
Thank you.
Right on.